The jury has sent out a note that they are deadlocked. They did not include a count. I am inclined, obviously I'm going to Allen charge them. I am inclined to ask them without which way, but just ask them for a count. Because I think it matters if they're 6-6 or 3-9 or what have you. Or I can just read the Allen charge and we can wait on that.
If we are to inquire as to the count, I think we should also inquire in the count, meaning what the vote is between the 12, as to if it's specific to a count, if they have reached a verdict on any count.
I agree. Are they deadlocked on all 7 counts? And if so, without telling me which way, what is the count? Are we comfortable with that?
Yeah, what is the vote for count?
What is the, yes.
And Judge, I'm okay with that. We did that with Judge, on a case I had with Judge Adams. It's the first time that, because the foreperson of the jury volunteered what the count was.
Right, and sometimes they do and sometimes they don't.
And I don't have a problem.
And it is certainly improper for me to inquire which way. I just am interested, because I think in evaluating how much longer I ask them to deliberate, that is relevant information for us to consider, and however y'all want to proceed. So, all right, it just says, are you deadlocked on all 7 counts? And without telling me which way, please tell me that count. By that, I mean how many one way, how many the other way. Does that make sense? All right, let's send that out and sort of see where we are. I'm going to pull up the Allen charge. I know that there was, at least as to some counts in some opinion yesterday, a juror who had indicated that they were not going to change their mind, but I still think it is probably appropriate to Allen charge them before we make any decisions. All right, they are deadlocked on all the counts. The numbers are not the same on all the counts. They range from 11-1 to 7-5. So I'm gonna Allen charge them and we'll see. But it sounds like, and count 1, they're 3-9, count 2, they're 4-8, count 3, they're 9-3, count 4, they're 11-1, count 5, they're 7-5, count 6, they're 7-5, count 7, they're 11-1. So, bring them in for me, please. I'm probably going to check back with them for lunch at 12:30, 12:45, if we've not Ladies and gentlemen, you've now been deliberating on this case for a period of time, and I think it's proper, based on your notes to me, to advise you further in regard to the desirability of an agreement if possible. The case has been exhaustively tried by both sides. It's been submitted to you for decision and verdict if possible, and not for disagreement. It's the law that a unanimous verdict is required. And while this verdict must be the conclusion of each juror and not a mere acquiescence of the jurors in order to reach an agreement, it is nevertheless necessary for all jurors to examine the issues and questions submitted to them with candor and fairness and with a proper regard for and deference to the opinions of each other. A proper regard for the judgment of others will greatly aid us in forming our own judgment. Each juror should listen to the arguments of the other jurors with a disposition to be convinced by them. If the members of the jury differ in their view of the evidence, the difference of opinion should cause all of them to scrutinize the evidence more carefully and re-examine the grounds for their opinions. Your duty is to decide the issues submitted to you if you can conscientiously do so. In conferring, you should lay aside all mere pride of opinion and bear in mind that the jury room is no place for taking up one side or the other of a cause or maintaining a spirit of controversy either side of a cause. You should bear in mind at all times that as jurors you should not be advocates for either side. You should keep in mind the truth as it appears from the evidence examined in light of the instructions of the court. I'm going to ask you to retire to the jury room for a reasonable time, examine your differences in a spirit of fairness and candor, and try to arrive at a verdict. I will also tell you that if you have a verdict on some counts and not other counts, if you will notify the court of that. All right? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll ask you to step back to the jury room. If you need a break, you may ask for one. Just let the bailiff know, but please remember not to talk about the case unless all 12 of you are in the room. Okay?